In 2009, America was still learning how to trust the internet. Online dating was becoming normal. Craigslist felt convenient, anonymous, simple. But behind one smiling profile, behind one promising future, was a double life no one saw coming. This is the story of how a medical student, weeks away from marriage, became known across the country as the Craigslist killer. Before we begin, if you're drawn to real investigative stories like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Now, let's step into the darkness. Philip Markoff was born in 1986 in New York. By all accounts, he was intelligent, polite, and focused. He attended college at the University at Albany and later enrolled in medical school at Boston University. He wasn't a loner. He wasn't socially awkward. He wasn't failing in life. In fact, he had everything going for him. While in college, he met Megan McAllister, a woman who would later become his fiancée. Their relationship seemed stable, healthy, even ideal. Friends described him as kind and respectful. Megan described him as loving. By 2009, they were engaged and planning a wedding set for August that year. He was studying medicine. He was weeks from becoming a husband. He had a future filled with promise. But beneath that polished exterior, something darker was forming. In the late 2000s, Craigslist was wildly popular. People used it to buy furniture, find apartments, sell electronics, post job ads, and yes, offer adult services. Back then, the platform allowed ads under an erotic services section. It was discreet, anonymous, and it created opportunities, not just for business, but for crime. And that's where Philip Markoff began hunting. On April 14, 2009, a woman named Tricia Leffler posted an ad offering escort services on Craigslist in Boston. She arranged to meet a client at a hotel. The man who arrived was young, clean-cut, soft-spoken, not threatening. He wore a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. Inside the hotel room, things changed. He pulled out a gun. He restrained her. He robbed her at gunpoint. Then he left. Tricia survived. She would later describe her attacker as calm, controlled, methodical. Police began investigating, but they had little to go on. What they didn't know was that this was only the beginning. April 16, 2009, the murder of Jaleesa Brisman. 2 days later, another Craigslist ad was posted. Jaleesa Brisman, a 26-year-old aspiring masseuse and model, had advertised massage services online. She agreed to meet a client at the Marriott Copley Place Hotel in Boston. That client was Philip Markoff. Security footage later showed him entering the hotel wearing a baseball cap, a dark jacket, and what appeared to be latex gloves. Inside the room, investigators believe he attempted to rob her. But something went wrong. Jaleesa resisted. A struggle followed. She was shot 3 times. She died at the scene. When police arrived, there was no forced entry, no obvious suspect, just security footage of a man whose face was partially hidden. The city of Boston was now dealing with a murderer. Just days later, another woman, Cynthia Melton, was targeted. She had also advertised escort services on Craigslist. The same pattern: hotel meeting, young male client, gun, attempted robbery. But this time, she fought back. She escaped. Now police knew they had a serial offender targeting women through online ads. The media caught wind of it. Headlines exploded, and the nickname was born: the Craigslist Killer. Boston police began analyzing hotel surveillance footage. They traced cell phone tower pings, IP address activity, hotel keycard data, rental car records. They discovered something shocking. The suspect's movements lined up with the cell phone of one person: Philip Markoff, a second-year medical student, engaged, living with his fiancée, planning a wedding. The double life was unraveling. On April 20th, 2009, police arrested Philip Markoff during a traffic stop while he and Megan were driving home. He didn't resist. He didn't confess. He simply asked, "Is she okay?" referring to his fiancée. When police searched his apartment, they found a handgun, ammunition, zip ties, duct tape, latex gloves, a laptop with evidence linking him to Craigslist ads. Even more disturbing, authorities found $800 in cash hidden inside the hollowed-out book of Gray's Anatomy. A medical student, hiding robbery money inside a medical textbook. The symbolism was chilling. The fiancée, who knew nothing, Megan McAllister, was devastated. She publicly supported him at first, insisting he was innocent. She even posted bail money. But as evidence mounted, security footage, forensic evidence, digital tracking, reality set in. The man she planned to marry was living a secret life. Eventually, she ended the engagement. The wedding scheduled for August 2009 was canceled. Her world collapsed overnight. National news exploded. Shows like Good Morning America covered the case daily. Headlines portrayed Markoff as a secret psychopath, a man addicted to gambling, a thrill seeker, a sociopath living a double life. Reports later suggested he had accumulated significant gambling debts. Was this about money? Was it about power? Was it about sexual control? Psychologists debated endlessly. While awaiting trial, Markoff's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He attempted suicide multiple times. He was placed on suicide watch. He carved the name Megan into his arm. He maintained his innocence publicly, but privately, he was unraveling. August 15, 2010. On August 15, 2010, almost exactly 1 year after his canceled wedding, Philip Markoff was found dead in his jail cell at the Nashua Street Jail in Boston. He had used bedsheets to hang himself, blocked his cell door with paper, left behind signs of careful planning. He never stood trial. He never publicly explained his actions. He never faced a courtroom verdict. The case ended not with justice, but silence. How does a medical student, intelligent, engaged, seemingly stable, commit such calculated crimes? Experts believe several possible motives intersected. Financial stress, reports of gambling debts, thrill-seeking behavior, risk addiction, compartmentalization, ability to live two identities, control and dominance fantasies. But here's what makes this case haunting. There were no obvious warning signs, no prior violent record, no outward instability, just a man who wore a mask, literally and psychologically. After the murder of Jaleesa Brisman, Craigslist faced intense scrutiny. Eventually, the erotic services section was shut down under pressure from lawmakers and advocacy groups. The case sparked national debate about online anonymity, digital footprints, escort industry safety, background checks, the dangers of meeting strangers from online platforms. The internet was no longer just convenient. It was dangerous. Jaleesa Brisman. It's easy to focus on the killer, but we must remember the victim. Jaleesa Brisman was more than a headline. She was 26. She had dreams. She had family who loved her. She had a future stolen. Her life mattered, and her death forced a reckoning about online safety that still resonates today. This case reminds us, evil doesn't always look evil. Some criminals live ordinary lives. The internet can hide predators in plain sight. Digital trails can both enable crime and solve it. Technology evolves, but human darkness remains. Closing reflection. The story of Philip Markoff is disturbing not because he was monstrous, but because he appeared normal. He was educated, engaged, polite, ambitious, and yet, he targeted women through an online marketplace, robbed them, and murdered one. He died before trial. No confession, no apology, no courtroom answers, just unanswered questions. If you found this story gripping and thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the darkest true crime cases in history. Because sometimes, the most dangerous people are the ones who look the most ordinary.